Unfortunately, no one can be told what the Matrix is. You have to see it for yourself.
Artificial creativity is here. You've probably seen all of the AI artwork that's been floating around, or maybe you've even gone a little bit deeper and listened to the AI podcast between Joe Rogan and the ghost of Steve Jobs.
Do you still go back and look at Hinduism and Buddhist texts and things?
Not texts and things. I actually took a course in that.
This isn't a passing fad. OpenAI, the company behind DALL-E, is valued at almost $20 billion. For comparison, Instagram was only valued at $1 billion when Facebook acquired it back in 2012. There is seriously big money here, and it could herald the start of a new era. An era where robots can create almost anything that humans can, and maybe even do it better. And before you laugh me off or say creativity is only something humans can do, please stick around and watch this video, because the things that I have discovered as I've gone down this rabbit hole have blown my mind. Because the thing is that AI has come a lot further than almost anyone realizes. And frankly, that kind of terrifies me. Ever since I was 15, it's been my dream to be an author, and I'm lucky enough to be living that dream out right now. But as these robots get better and better and better, it kind of worries me. Will these robots replace me? Will these robots figure out how to write better books than I can? I just couldn't get this question out of my head. So I set off on a journey to try to find some answers, and the places where it took me were crazy, to say the least. So this video is my humble attempt to answer that question of whether robots can ever replace human writers. What I have here are 3 short stories, and one of them was written by an AI. The other 2 were written by humans. I'm about to read these out to you right now, and I want you to see if you can pick the one that was written by an AI. Certain houses, like certain persons, manage somehow to proclaim at once their character for evil. In the case of the latter, no particular feature need betray them. They may boast an open countenance and an ingenious smile, and yet a little of their company leaves the unalterable conviction that there is something radically amiss with their being, that they are evil. Clarence tried to keep smiling, but his mind was elsewhere, in spite of the music and all the smiling partygoers. His attention shifted to the view out the window. The night was still dark, and the moon shone through. The river was a pale, ghostly outline through the tall trees of the hills. He could hear a distant car horn. The moonlight streamed through the tall, dark windows, illuminating the face of an old woman that was leaning on a wall. A hiker decided to go on a hike by himself, something he was not very used to. The whole day was normal. Trees and bushes engulfed his surroundings. He enjoyed being outdoors in the mountains. Nothing seemed strange to him. That was until he was making his way back to his car. He figured an 8-hour hike was good enough. The sky was already getting dark, and he needed to get back fast. What was odd was how much he didn't recognize the trail back. He began to panic. So, can you guess which one it is? It's not this one, and it's not this one. It's this one. So the first 2 lines of this story was written by this guy, Mike Pearl, and then the rest of it was written by GPT-2, which is an AI software developed by OpenAI. You can say that that's just a small sample, but I still think the results are scarily impressive. All right, I think it's time to start playing around with some of this software myself. So this first piece of software I want to show you is a program called Jasper, which has a function specifically for creating creative stories. So let's see if this can put me out of a job. I'm scared. For this input here, I'm going to kind of use the plot for my very first book, Fires of the Dead. So this is a very abridged version of what that book is about. For the tone of voice, it is very much a grim, dark book, so I'm going to put grim in there. I've got my actual copy of the book here, and I'm going to put in like the first couple of lines from the book and then see what happens after that. Now let's see where this takes me. Okay, kind of a generic description of that. The Ashwood desolation was a daunting sight. It kind of works, like I wouldn't necessarily be able to tell that apart from a human writing it. To be fair though, this kind of does capture Wisp's world-weary tone. Like this little bit at the end is sort of how I would write a bit of his dialogue. This kind of resigned, grouchy old man. Let's see where it takes me next. So now this is kind of scarily interesting. It's immediately picked up from my opening up here that because he's using a telescope, they're looking for something, they're searching for something in the Ashwood Desolation. And now it's kind of like building some plot complications around that, which is fascinating. Like, they're not discovering the thing that they want, and now they have to return to camp. Like, this is following some good, cause and effect here. So when you consider the fact that all I gave this was like 3 sentences at the start, it has pulled out like quite a lot of stuff. It's not necessarily obvious that this has been written by a computer. Like, this could be a totally legitimate way to begin this story. Let's try some other stuff. So this is Character.ai, and you can use it to basically create robots that text you. So let's say I want to have a conversation with my favorite author, Brandon Sanderson. All you basically do is you input the kind of brief details about this person here, and then it will create an artificially intelligent robot version of them. So let's see how good my Brandon Sanderson bot is. An easy question to start it off with. Tell me about yourself. I attended BYU where I met my wife. She was a literature major and I was a physics major. Some of this I think is pretty correct. I'm pretty sure he did go to BYU. I think he did graduate in 2000. I don't know if he was a physics major. I thought he was doing chemistry there. But the cool thing with this is that you can, if you don't like that output, you can just scroll over here. Let's ask a harder question. Which book of yours is your favorite? I would say my favorite book of mine is probably The Way of Kings. It is about a slave that must help unite a fractured fantasy world to defeat an enemy that threatens all of humanity. That's a pretty accurate description of The Way of Kings. If you know anything about Brandon Sanderson, you know that he's really well known for his magic systems. So let's see if I can just get him to create a magic system from scratch. Can you create a new magic system for my book? That's kind of cool. Tell me more. This sounds a lot like The Rhythmatist, which is a book he wrote. Interesting. What advice would you give to an aspiring writer? Good advice here. I always used to try to perfect a sentence before I wrote the next. This was a major mistake and led to a long time between books. Once I finally started letting myself write imperfectly and edit later, I was able to greatly increase my productivity. Even little inflections like having this at the start here, it really makes it feel like you are talking with a human. So now that we've explored what AI is capable of, where does that leave us writers? I wouldn't say that I produced any fantastic stories with the AI tools I messed around with earlier in this video, but I will say that with more time spent on my behalf with these tools, and with further technological innovation, I can very easily see a point where these robots are surpassing us writers. Maybe that's a bold statement, but when you break it down, I do think that creativity is an engineering problem. Soon, AI tools will do what only very talented humans can do today. I expect this to go mostly in the counterintuitive order. Creative fields first, cognitive labor next, and physical labor last. Now you might be thinking that all these computers do is they take in a bunch of data, they scramble it all up, and then they spit out this remix version. They're not really creating anything. But I would argue that's exactly what creativity is. Creativity is intrinsically this process of remixing. And a computer can do that on a much bigger scale than I can. So if we do assume that robots can eventually write stories that are better than human writers, where does that leave us humans? Well, I think it comes down to the same reason why you're watching this video right now. Us humans crave emotional connection. When you're watching a school play staged by your kid, it's not because it's a good play. It's probably a horrible play. But you really appreciate watching it because you have the emotional connection with your daughter who might be playing a background character who has like 3 lines of dialogue in the play. That emotional connection makes it special to you. Ultimately, art is subjective, and our attachment to an artist can help us appreciate their art in a deeply intense and personal way. Take Brandon Sanderson, for example. He's my favorite author, and for years he's been sharing insights into his writing process on his fantastic YouTube channel, which was actually a big inspiration behind why I started this channel up, and I would love to kind of get to the point where he is. This willingness he's displayed over the last few years to really bring us readers into his world and to show the nuts and bolts of his process, to show how he puts his stories together, has created a lot of emotional connection between him and his fans. And this willingness to bring readers into his world and into his mind and his creative process is why he could launch 4 books on Kickstarter early this year, and that Kickstarter made $41 million. I instantly dropped like $300 on that Kickstarter without knowing anything about the books, and I'm so excited to read them. And right there, I think that is the answer. Maybe us human writers can't compete with robots on results, but we can compete with them on being human. There will always be a desire to have that feeling that you're sitting at a campfire with a story beside you and to be taken into that storyteller's world, to emotionally connect with them on a deeply personal level, to feel that they have endured the same struggles and walked the same path that you might be walking right now, and to make you feel, even if it is just for a moment, that you're not alone in this world and that someone else out there has gone through the same things that you're going through right now. And that's why I'm not scared about robots. I think they're going to usher in a fascinating era of storytelling and art. And I think that there's going to be a place for stories written by robots and stories written by humans. And personally, I'm excited to read both of those. Thanks for watching. If you enjoyed this, I invite you to join my free author newsletter. It goes out every 2 weeks with a behind the scenes look into my writing process, the books I'm reading, and other cool things as well. In a couple of weeks, I plan to be sharing the opening few chapters from my next book, Kingdom of Dragons, exclusively on that author newsletter. And when you sign up as well, you can also get a free short story that you can't find anywhere else. To get on the newsletter, just go to jedherne.com/news or click this link up here. Thanks, and I'll see you in the next video.